bitch, you let me on my own.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Peace. Let's talk about NXT for November the 8th, 2022. This episode of NXT was alright, to say the very least. Much better than last week. I feel that it's time that we have a new cast of characters. It feels like a lot of these people have overstayed their welcome, and it's time to do something completely new and different. That's just me, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would actually agree with me. I feel that NXT should basically be a developmental where you stay there for about a year to maybe at best 2.5 years and move them up to the main roster and see if they can survive and sink and swim on the main roster. And if they sink, then just get rid of them. That's kind of how I think shit should go, in my opinion. Because a lot of these people have been around for years, and it's just time for most of these guys to go on the main roster. That's just me. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. First match of the night, Cameron Grimes versus Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy wins via a distraction by Eva Raine, so she got involved. So I'm digging what they're doing with Schism. Now, I will say this. Joe Gacy looks weird as fuck in trunks. He just looks fucking weird, but it is what it is, I guess. I'd much rather see him in a shirt and jeans, in my opinion. That's just me, but to each his own. But come on. But I am digging what they're doing with the Schism. I'm digging Schism. I'm glad that Ava is with them. It actually makes a lot of sense for her to be with Schism. This gives her a chance to find herself, grow more as a character. So I'm digging where Schism is going right now. I do think that Cameron Grimes is on his way out. There's nothing more he can do in NXT. He's been there for about, I want to say, since 2018. So it's time for him to potentially move on and see if he's going to sink or swim. All right. Moving on. So Axiom, he's in the training room with Nathan Frazier, who comes out of the training room. Frazier says that the trainer told him it's going to be a few more weeks till he can be medically cleared. Axiom says, to be fair, Frazier tore up his body pretty badly during the ladder match. And JD McDonough, he interrupts. He comes in and he tells Axiom to leave the medical advice to the professionals, as he knows nothing about pain. JD predicts that Frazier has busted a C4 vertebrae in his neck. Damn, I didn't know he knew that, but I'm digging his fucking character work. And then JD taunts them over their best of 3 series. Both Axiom and JD have a couple of words. And Axiom mentions that JD failed to capture the NXT title. So JD threatens to put Axiom on the shelf along with Frazier. And that leads us into their match for later on in the night. So, moving on from that, Nikkita Lyons and Zoey Stark, they arrive to the building for their match. Unfortunately, this was the main event of the evening, which actually kind of made sense, I guess. That being Zoey Stark and Nikkita Lyons versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter. So, we get one of my favorite segments of the night. Carmelo Hayes in the barbershop with his boy Trick William and his homeboys. So, Carmelo, he dismisses any critics, commenting on how he failed to win the NXT North American Championship back. Hayes goes on about how he elevated the title and no one pinned him for the title. So everybody agrees. And then they talk shit about Wesley. They call him a transitional champion. And then one of the barbers, he gives props for to Wesley, saying that he's got the NXT universe behind him. And Trick Williams smacks the shit out of his hat and throws it on the ground. I thought that was fucking funny. So Carmelo gives Wesley some props. He says he's nothing until he pins him in the ring. And then Mello says, we all know that Wesley will have a short title reign, and it'll end when they meet again in the ring. Trick says they'll let Lee hold on to the title for 2 weeks tops. And Hayes says next week they'll have a contract signing. So that's fine, I guess. We all know that Wesley isn't losing the title at all, period. So hopefully, maybe Shawn Michaels will graciously consider putting Carmelo in the main event scene of NXT. I don't know. Come on, Shawn. Seems like Melo would kick ass in the main event. So, the feed, it cuts out. The NXT feed cuts out for a second. This pins on to Scripps. So we get a voicemail message. And he says, his name is written on the walls. His voice sounds through the halls of the Performance Center. So now he'll be on NXT to watch the whole thing fall. Scripps says, there's truly pain among them. So imagine, among thee. So imagine what will happen and what has happened, because it was always meant to be. Sincerely, Scripps. So I'm digging this. It's interesting to see what comes of this and who it's going to be. Obviously, it's going to be somebody who's been in NXT previously. And no, it's not Dominic Dijakovic, okay? Fuck that guy. I despise Dijak. I really do. I do not like him. Boring as shit. So I'm interested to see who this is going to be. Next, Sorika versus Alexa Lopez. Sorika is getting better. She looked good in this match, even though she took the L here. So Lopez wins. Post-match, Indy Hartwell, she attacks Lopez, and they brawl, and then the referees separate the two. Andre Chase, he's backstage with Thea Hale and Duke Hudson. So Hale, she's all fired up like a little Scrappy Doo. She reminds me of Butch in a way, aka Pete Dunne. She says Charlie Dempsey showed how cowardly he was with the attack on Chase U last week, and if Chase doesn't get to him, she will. Hale asked for Chase to let her go at Dempsey. Duke calms her down and says he was sitting at the back last week. That was a teachable moment, as he learned that they only win and lose between the ropes. Duke wants to be at ringside with Hale to support Chase U against Dempsey. So they're all fired up and riled up. Duke says Dempsey attacked them all and spat in the face of anyone who wore the U on their chest. Duke says Andre beat Dempsey before, and he'll beat him again right now. So Chase is fired up, and he said he's going to give Dempsey and Andre Chase U size ass whooping. Andre tells Duke to get the flag, and Thea's ready to go. And then they do a Chase U on 1, 2, 3, and then they all head out. Okay, so I'm digging this. I guess it seems like they're going to dismantle Chase U since Bodie is no longer there. I've been hearing rumors that he was let go because maybe he may have been late to some events, and some places and events he no-showed. So that could be a reason why he got let go. But then again, that's just a rumor. That's just what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. And then also I've heard that he wasn't progressing. So I don't know what really to believe. I do think that he'll be back in due time. That's why I said last week that maybe Bodhi can go to the Indies for a while, maybe about a year and some change, and then, come back. So, but really and truthfully, Chase U was really just to get over Bodhi Haywood. That's really what it was for. Moving on. So, we're chilling. Mandy Rose and Jacy Jayne, they're all on FaceTime, chilling out. So, supposedly, which I don't believe, Jacy Jayne, she left them all, which I don't believe. Jayne says that she's shopping. And she's spending around $4,000, which I don't believe that either. She said she's nervous about Alba Fyre. So Mandy basically just says, come over and chill. You'll be fine here. And so basically they're still chatting about some stuff. And then she's stopped by the mall cop, who actually is Alba Fyre. She gets beat down by Alba Fyre. Alba Fyre then takes over, and she says that she took out Dolan last week. This week it was Jacy Jayne. Next week she'll take out Rose and her title. Fyre says she'll be the last woman standing, and then Rose is muted, and then her call is disconnected. So there's that. I'm fine with this, I guess. I think Alba Fyre, it's time for her to go. It makes sense. She doesn't really need to be there, in my opinion. She really doesn't. I think it's time for her to sink or swim on the main roster as well. She's not going to be champion. Once again, I still have no idea who Mandy Rose is going to do the job to and put over. I really don't know yet, but it damn sure ain't going to be fucking Alba Fyre. That shit ain't going to happen. Nah, ain't going to happen. Moving on. Andre Chase versus Charlie Dempsey. Towards the end of the match, Duke Hudson throws in the towel. So basically, Dempsey wins. And then post-match, Chase says he didn't give up. So Dempsey raises his arm in victory. So Duke helps out Andre to his feet. So it seems like Duke is going to be the one that's going to destroy Chase U from the inside out now that Bodhi is no longer there, which actually does make sense. But wasn't there a vignette maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago where Kiana James was trying to buy out Chase U? Like, there was like some land that was on Chase U. I remember hearing about that a while back. So I shocked that they didn't go with that angle, but it is what it is. So Mackenzie Mitchell, she's backstage with Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell is another one who needs to get out of NXT. She's been there for well over 3 years. Well over. I think this is close to her 4th year. Yeah, it's time for her to go too. So she's backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell. So she goes on about what we saw earlier in the night, telling us how NXT works. She says Alexa Lopez had it coming, and he says no one proves a point on her. You can do it to Sarika, but not her. Indy says you can't count on anyone around here, and you have to take what you want. Otherwise, it won't happen. Indy says she's locked in and betting the house on herself. So it makes sense, but it's time for her to go as well. It's time for her to sink or swim on the main roster. If she doesn't have it, then she's got to go. But, man, she's really got to get up out of there and go on the main roster. Indy should be on the main roster a while ago. Standing with Cameron Grimes, it's the same thing. NXT should be designed to keep guys and girls there for about, at best, 2 years, 2.5 years tops, and move them to the main fucking roster to see if they sink or swim. It's not meant to be something that you stay in 3, 4, 5, 6 years. That's not how it fucking works. Moving on. So basically, we see highlights of what happened this weekend with Fallon Henley. So they're at the bar, that being Briggs and Jensen. So Kiana James, she walks into the bar, which is owned by Fallon Henley's family. So basically, she's wanting to buy the bar, and she gave her a really good offer. So she wants to build an apartment complex on the property. And then Fallon goes over on about how this has been in her family for generations. And she talked about all the memories she's had before and everything else. Basically, Kiana says that that Henley and her family can live the rest of their lives, miserable lives in the apartment complex, but it's their loss. Henley tells them both to get out, and then Briggs and Jensen tell them to hit the bricks. So this is interesting. I'm really digging this. I'm loving how they're making her like a Wall Street tycoon who just buys everything, which is kind of cool. Like, she's kind of like some secret investor or what have you, and wanting to just buy shit out. I love that shit. I'm loving where this character is going. I do like this, and hopefully we get more of this and see where it goes. Next, Hank Walker versus Stacks for whatever reason. Stacks wins, which is the right decision. I'm glad that Quincy Elliott didn't get involved. Thank the creator above. Oof, I'm so happy. So Grayson Waller, he's backstage hyping up people about a segment involving Bron Breakker and Von Wagner. So Waller, he introduces Von Wagner and Robert Stone first. Then out comes Bron Breakker. So you guys know how I feel about Von Wagner. He fucking sucks. So I'm not even going to go over his promo. I'm just going to talk about what Bron said. So Bron says, he starts to speak, but Robert Stone cuts him off, saying Von is more powerful than anyone Bron has been in the ring with, even Breakker himself. Bron says it looks like an even matchup when you put the stats side by side. But how about Von try that stuff last week to his face instead of from behind? And then Waller shows a comment that they want anyone to beat Breakker. See anybody beat Breakker. Waller agrees and says if it's not Von, then he knows someone more handsome who can win it. So he's talking about himself. And then Bron doesn't dislike the people who say this stuff. He understands where they come from. NXT's all about finding the next superstar. And a year ago, it's him. Now he's at the top. And then Bron puts over all the past champions. And so Bron says that Von's getting a shot next week. Today McDonough's breathing down his neck. Apollo Crews wants a shot, so I'm glad he mentioned that. And Bron asked Apollo if he's happy. Finally, Bron mentioned his name. And then Bron says the thing that Von and all these people have in common is that no one's taking the title from him. And the two get in each other's faces, and that was that. Because I'm not even going to mention what Von Wagner said. He's just boring as shit. He doesn't have it in him, and he's not cut out for this shit. He really is not. No. But I'm so glad that they're getting this shit out the way this week. Next week. So that should be good. Moving on. We're backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell again. She interviews Wesley. So he admits that he's been on a roller coaster of emotions and says that it hurt not becoming a double champion last week. He's been thinking about what Carmelo Hayes said. He's never been pinned for the title. Said he's right. And Hayes made this the A champion for a while. of NXT. And then Wesley says that the tag team competitor was never supposed to hold singles gold, but here he is. His career is supposed to be over in April. Lee says 2 weeks ago in 2 weeks he'll go one-on-one with the man who's been untouchable for a year, but somehow he will make Mello miss. Wesley says they can sign their contract next week and make it official, but no matter what Hayes brings, it won't throw Lee off his game because he's on a roll like butter, and not even Hayes can stop it. Okay, so we all know that Wesley isn't losing his championship at all. We all know this. Moving on. So, Wendy Chu... No, Cora Jade's backstage. And she says that we know Chu can go in the ring, but she wants to be accepted and has her whole life wanting to receive a text from popular girls, but the text never came. Jade says Chu needs to accept that she will no matter how hard she tries, and she will always be looking in from the outside. Jade warns her to think twice before next time she thinks to making a friend at her expense. So I'm digging this, and Cora Jade's gotten a lot better. She's actually improved, and I'm digging this. Although I don't like really, when you chew all that much, even though she's improved as well. But it is what it is. So Apollo Crews, we get a video package. We see footage of him. He's in Nigeria. So he's in the WWE Talent Search of Africa. Nice. So Crews cuts a promo and says he's going to become the next NXT champion. Okay, that's cool. JD McDonough versus Axiom. McDonough wins via referee stoppage. So he gets on the mic and says there was a severe strain, not a tear, talking about Axiom, because he's a nice guy. Fans boo JD. He says he's not a nice guy. When the necessary evil comes out, when someone sets in between him and the NXT title, JD says, if you don't believe him, ask Ilya Dragunov, who's still been in the hospital for 3 weeks. JD sends a message to the NXT locker room and begs any man to please get on his level. Please test him. JD says he's looking at Apollo Crews. So I like this. Then we get the 5-minute challenge. Brutus Creed versus Damon Kemp. Kemp wins via disqualification because Brutus whacks Kemp in the back with a steel chair, and then he pummels him some more, like 2 more times. I'm glad. This is awesome. I fucking loved it. So this feud is essentially over, which actually makes sense. Post-match, we see Veer Mahan and Sangha standing on the balcony, clenching their fist, unbuttoning their ties and their suits, setting up a match between the two in due time. Probably it'll be happening at NXT Deadline in December, which they still need to go ahead and start building up for. And we get a vignette from Dominik Dijakovic. He says that he's wiped the slate clean for a fresh start, leaving the past where it should be. He says that power doesn't come from a title or position. It comes from getting the entire world to cooperate and to play by your rules. The ones for coming a past, those who don't will be brought to justice. His form of justice. Who gives a fuck? Fuck Dominik Dijakovic. Fuck him. I do not like him. Seriously. He should have been released a while ago. Ugh. Main event. Nikkita Lyons and Zoey Stark versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. So the tag champs win via the the net break into the 450 combo. Post-match, the champs and the challengers, they embrace for a second. and they're about to hand the titles to KC Squared, but Zoey Stark whacks the shit out of Nikkita Lyons, and she stomps her, and she does her pose, and we go off the air. So I like this. This actually does make sense, to say the very least. We all know, and we all knew that it was coming. We all saw it coming from a mile away. I'm glad, although I would like a Nikkita to be in a better position, but it is what it is. And whenever she loses her match, Zoey Stark, maybe Zoey Stark will probably go back up to the main. She'll probably go to the main roster. So, and this feud probably will take place, or probably end at NXT Deadline. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention Roxanne Perez. She got involved in the Indy Hartwell segment. I forgot to mention that as well. But Roxanne Perez needs to do better also. And it seems like her feud with Cora Jade isn't over with. Because they can still do the whole Wendy Chu stuff. They can still do that as a mini feud on the side. Cora Jade and Wendy Chu. But Roxanne Perez, she's another one who needs to do better with her character work. Like, I'm tired of her having this happy-go-lucky character. I hate that shit. I hate those type of baby faces because they don't make any sense. You know, I mean, that's fine saying that for the first couple months, but she's been there for, 4, 5, 6 months now? It's time for her to have a different gear in her character, you know? But all in all, this episode was fine of NXT. I'm really excited for next week because we get 2 championship matches, and we get Apollo Crews versus JD McDonough. So that'll be really fucking good right there, it seems like, and that's gonna fucking kick ass. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Everybody has a hand, trying